It's been 24 hours since winning your second world title. Has it hit you at this point?
No, is the simple answer. Like, we have literally just stayed awake. We have come and played a game against Rachel Homan. We've brought our family and friends here. So, yeah, none of it has really hit us yet. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to hit us this week, I'm sure, playing the players and getting to experience that again. So, yeah, it's amazing to even hear you just say two-time world champion. Like, it's incredible to think that we did it once, but to have done it twice in 3 years is amazing.
I've watched a lot of your games over the years now, and we'll get back to the beginning. But I can't recall a time there was such visible emotion from you. Where did that come from?
Yeah, I think like this year there's been so many highs, and there was a low just for not winning our nationals. I find that pretty tough. Obviously, like winning our nationals is like something that you always grew up wanting to do, and like we did it a few times back in the day, and we always got to go to the Worlds. But when we don't win the nationals and then you get to go to the Worlds, you obviously get some sort of stick for it. So we wanted to obviously prove ourselves, but this is the way that our selection policy has been for the last 3, maybe 4 years. And yeah, having that like knowledge that you don't have to perform at that one time, it's quite nice. But you know, you obviously still want to win the Scottish, and when we didn't, I was quite upset. I was quite gutted, but obviously got the backing of British and Scottish curling to get to represent Scotland, and yeah, to have that opportunity and understanding that they backed us, it was really nice. And yeah, I just wanted to prove ourselves at the Worlds, and when we finally got the chance to win the World Championship with that draw to the forefoot, that's where the emotion just came out.
You are unflappable. In fact, I think I told you this story from one of the photographers who's covering curling for the first time, and he says, this Bruce guy, like I don't know if he's made the shot, if he's missed the shot. Yeah. I think that's actually a brilliant way to sum up how you are on the ice. But where is your heart rate and what's going on inside when you settle in the hack, knowing that the entire World Championship is on the line?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, the outer shell might show that kind of steely determination, but the inside is like dancing and churning and like going mental. I honestly just went into autopilot to play that shot. I think the boys actually wanted me to play the run back, the kind of 3-4 feet run back on the out turn. But I was in autopilot. Just was like, well, I'm drawing the forefoot to win a World Men's Championship with my guys, and yeah, it was a great team shot to win, and that's, you know, the dream.
Beautiful. Second World Championship on Canadian soil. I know how much you've talked about what it means to win in Canada, especially. What is it about playing here that means a lot to you?
It's just the fans. Like, the people understand the sport here. They have respect for all the players. They applaud not just for the Canadians, but for all the countries that, you know, they've started to love. And, you know, we've been coming over to Canada for the last 8 years as a team, and they've absolutely taken us under their wing and supported us like wholeheartedly, which is just incredible to see. And like even today playing in front of the crowd here and the Battle of the Sexes, it was a fun atmosphere. It wasn't like we were properly being booed or heckled. Like, we were doing it because it was a bit of fun, and they were having some fun times with us.
What do you think it says about you that you can be really good, in fact, beat Canada, and you know Canadians don't like losing in curling, but still have the people adore you as much as you are? And don't be humble, because I know you're humble, but there is something about you, Bruce, that makes you quite likable, at least to the Canadian fans and a lot of other people.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, to be honest. I think, like, genuinely, I just want to be a nice person, like, first and foremost. I want to be a sportsman. I want to show good sportsmanship. I want to enjoy myself when I'm out curling. So having these like fans that seem to really enjoy our team, it might have something to do with that. Like, they know that we love the sport and that we want to like put our best foot forward, and not only to win our games, but to win against opponents that are doing the same.
Craig was there again.
Yeah.
He seems to be a lucky charm in Canada.
Yes.
Let's go back to the 2023 win, because he was there and you're there and you beat Guju and you win your first world championship, and it was just this beautiful, spontaneous outburst of joy for the two of you. What did it mean to have him there and for you two to celebrate that so openly and lovingly?
Yeah, I think like at the time our relationship was still like blossoming, and it was pretty fresh, and he knew that I was, you know, had a bit of fame, I suppose, over here, but I don't think he really understood what it was like, and he absolutely loved the fact that people were coming up to him and knew who he was because of social media posts or whatever else that we might have shared together. But having him there was just incredible. Like, he's genuinely one of the most supportive people I've ever met, and to have him just there to support me in whatever capacity I needed him for was really good. And when we got the win, he was visibly like emotional, and he always tells me that I don't cry, and like I always tell him that he cries enough for both of us. So you know, he was in floods of tears, and we had that lovely embrace. And like, obviously we're surrounded by photographers who caught the moment, which, you know, I'm so glad that we have that photo that's gonna, you know, live in our house that we have together in Scotland now.
Beautiful. What was the reaction like? Because the sense I got is it was massive.
Yeah, like he was like over the moon for us, obviously, and like for me to have him there and to show our pride for each other and our love on such a kind of global scale, I guess, was it was it wasn't a planned thing, obviously. It was just so raw and emotional, and it meant the world to me at the time.
Who did you hear from in the wake of that? Is there a call or an interaction that stands out?
Nothing really, no. It was just the outpouring of love and support that we got from the posts that people were sharing. And I think like in the aftermath of it, we got a lot of support from other outlets, so like not just within curling, but like Outsport magazine, and a lot of things in Scotland came our way. So we got invited to like Pride Awards, and I was allowed to speak on my hometown's Pride March, which was really cool. Yeah. So we've just had so many opportunities, from literally just wanting to share. I guess like we didn't even want to share our story, we just did it. Like, it just happened so raw and emotional, as I said.
You know, I saw a photo of the two of you and saw it, the embrace again in Moose Jaw, my home province. As a gay man, I grew up in that, and I grappled about what my life was going to look like in the sports domain. And it makes me emotional, Bruce, because I have thought about all the times I've had to contemplate and navigate environments, looking around, is this a safe place?
Yeah.
And yet there you two are with all of these cameras and all these eyes on you, and it is so joyous.
Yeah.
I wonder if you've had to confront that, about caring about the optics of this and sport and your love.
Yeah, I think like maybe not in that moment, because at that time I was just, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go and see my partner. I wanted to give him a hug. I didn't necessarily think of any people that might be watching, or you know, who was around us. It was just, that's the person that I want to, you know, share the moment with. And obviously the guys that I play with are first and foremost in a team sport, but straight after we had our celebrations, I was over to Craig and sharing it with him, because I know how much it means to him to be here as well. And yeah, like growing up, I suppose I was aware that my life wasn't maybe going to be as simple as what it could have been if I was straight. But I think I've got to a point now where I'm like, I'm happy with who I am. I'm confident to be myself and to just, you know, show the love that I have for the person that I want to be with.
How much does Craig create space for you?
Yeah, I mean, he's a completely understanding person, and being away from home for so long throughout the season, you have to have that person. They have to understand that it's your job. Like, even last week, I hardly saw him. Like, that's probably why I went straight over to him after the final, because I'd only seen him for maybe 10 minutes for every day, I guess, that we were there. But yeah, it was just, I can't understand how he is so accepting of me being away for nearly 2 or 3 weeks of every month throughout the season. I'm so lucky to have him, to be honest.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
You and I both have to navigate that with our partners, so I know that all too well.
Yeah.
I remember seeing you guys and meeting you guys at your first World Championships. It feels like yesterday, and it feels like a lifetime ago in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I remember the hopes and dreams you had for all of this. What's it been like with these guys to be on this journey? Because on the topic of being gay, I've always just felt they've accepted you as one of their own, like a brother.
Yeah.
And also just the evolution of the way you guys talk about each other and have grown on and off the ice, I think has been a beautiful thing to watch, Bruce.
Yeah, like the guys that I play with, like I can't ask for anyone better to play with. Like the guys are just so understanding of my needs, my processes, and we're all different. Like they know that, and we've talked so much about the ways that we're different, and it's not just about like sexuality or who we fall in love with. It's about like our feelings within the game, understanding pressures that we have within curling and outside of curling. Like I've ventured into conversations with these guys more than I have with like close friends, I guess. It's just we need to really understand each other to be able to achieve what we have. And I believe that those conversations have led us to being a 2-time world champion.
Yeah, there's no question, and there's such a vulnerability that has to exist, because I always watch you, and I do watch body language, and I hear the tone of the voice, and I wonder when I watch a team like yours, like you've got to go to some dark places, and you've got to have some real, honest, frank conversations to be able to, in those biggest moments.
Yeah.
How has that been to work through?
Well, we had some last week. Like
Really? Eh?
Yeah, like during our week, we weren't having our best performances. We were really actually struggling just to be able to qualify it. At one point, we were thinking that we were, our backs were up against the wall, and we were going to have to come out fighting.
Wow.
And yeah, we had conversations about like what we could do better, how we could support each other better, like the communication skills that we've really tried to work on, how to make them even more efficient. And honestly, those conversations we had on maybe the Friday night before our Saturday morning game against Sweden, they really helped, and I think that's what got us that gold medal.
Wow. I just want to go back to what you said about understanding that your life wasn't maybe going to be as simple as it could have been. Because I remember when I was confronting all of that and just trying to figure out what my place in the world and my voice. And interestingly, we've had to sort of grow up in front of the camera together. And I've, always thought, boy, if you aren't sure of who you are, it sucks to have to grow up in front of the camera and the lights, because that can be a tough thing to sort of negotiate.
Yeah.
Who have been some people along the way, Bruce, that have allowed you to sort of be a little more okay in your own skin, and what were those early days like?
Yeah, I think like growing up, I knew that I wanted to be in sport, and knowing that I was gay, and it kind of, to me, it was almost like there's a barrier in the way of that. I didn't see a lot of like openly gay men playing in any sport, to be honest, and that was almost like a worry that I was not going to be able to, just because of the fact of being gay. But yeah, I spoke to a sports psychologist back in, I must have been 17 or 18, and like my coach, he knew that something was up. He didn't know what it was, and he said, oh well, we have access to sports psychology if you wanted to use it. And I went to my first meeting, and I think I just spoke to them about, I feel like pressure when I'm playing shots and stuff, and we had a nice conversation, but it wasn't what I actually wanted to talk about. And then it was the second session that I went back, and we had the actual conversation that was needed to be had, that I was openly, or I was gay, and I needed to feel that I was being supported, and I needed to know that I had a place within the sport to be able to perform better. And the simple thing was that they didn't like change a switch. They didn't like flick anything to make me think like, oh, it is okay. Like they were just like, well, we can support you. And I think that's all I needed, was just knowing that someone was able to say these things, that, you know, it's okay to be gay within sport. Like, you could be that person for other people. And that was around the same time that Tom Daley came out.
Wow.
And seeing Tom Daley go on to win an Olympic medal, I was like, well, that's something that I could do too. I told my teammates at the time, they were very supportive of me. I then changed teams to this team later on, and I knew that these guys were going to support me as well. And yeah, I've just been so fortunate that I've never come up against barriers, even though I had that own perception of having a barrier in my way.
I hope you don't mind saying I'm proud of you. I really am, because I know that
I appreciate
journey,
that.
and I feel that journey, Bruce. Winding down, you mentioned it, not a lot of pro gay athletes, and it's a conversation you and I always have to entertain in this realm. But I wonder if you've come to grasp what you might represent. I'm always thinking about the kids. I know your heart, so I think you would be too, but I just wonder about what you might mean, or think about what you might mean to young kids who might be in Scotland or in Canada or anywhere else in the world, wondering, just like you and I have, if there's a place for sport for them.
Yeah, I think that's maybe what I struggle with the most. It's like to understand like what is my role now, and to what end do I need to support these people. But I think it's just living authentically and just being able to show that there is a space for them within sport if they want it. And it doesn't have to be the elite level. It can literally be grassroots level, like just creating these environments where people are welcomed and supported. It's so key, and I think that's why I love curling in Canada so much as well. It's that I see that there's a pride league in nearly every single city or major city that you have, and that's so special. I want to be able to create something like that in Scotland, and to have people come to an ice rink and know that that's a safe space for them. And yeah, that's, I think, where I'm at in my career. I want to obviously achieve things in my sporting career, but I also want to achieve things that maybe have a bigger impact on other people as well.
It hits me that we're having this conversation in a building that was once reserved for the toughest of hockey men, right bordered against the gay village in Toronto, and we're able to sit here and have this conversation. Last one, you talked about Tom Daley and winning Olympic gold. Is that the last thing on the list, athletically?
Yeah, I suppose so. That's the dream. It has been for as long as I can remember. You know, we've put ourselves in a very good opportunity to be able to do that. We'll find out our selection in May, I believe, coming up. And yeah, if we get the opportunity to represent Team GB again, we're going to fight for every inch. We want that gold.
You heard it here. I appreciate you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Thank you.